Hello students, welcome to our last lesson on Unit 4. In our previous class, we have seen 2 points. One is microorganism and the other one is disease. As we have seen in our previous lesson, we have listed types of microorganism, and also we have tried to explain the role of microorganism in our environment. And secondly, we have seen diseases. Diseases, as we have defined, these are malfunctioning of our body due to microorganism or due to other reason. If disease is caused by microorganism, we call the disease communicable disease. And as we have seen in our previous lesson, diseases can be transmitted from one person to the other by different mode of transmission. And in addition to transmission of different diseases, we have also seen the way how we can prevent ourselves from different diseases. In this period, we are going to see HIV. HIV as one type of sexually transmitted disease. We will see some important points about this disease. As you know, HIV AIDS is an abbreviation of two terms. AIDS stands for acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. This disease or AIDS is not inherited from our parents, or we cannot inherit the disease, but this disease can be transmitted from one individual to the other or from mother to child. That's why it is said that acquired. And the disease is characterized by weakening the immune system of our body. HIV is the virus that we call human immunodeficiency virus, and this virus is the main cause of AIDS. HIV, or the virus human immunodeficiency deficiency virus, is the cause for AIDS, and this virus cannot infect other organisms other than human being. For that reason, it is known as human immunodeficiency virus. Therefore, we can say that HIV is the virus that causes AIDS. HIV is the causative agent, and AIDS is the combination of illness that is result due to infection by HIV virus. Therefore, students, when you study about HIV and AIDS, you have to differentiate AIDS with that of HIV. HIV is a virus, whereas AIDS is the disease that AIDS is the disease that resulted due to infection by HIV. Here we have the structure of HIV. HIV as a virus has simple structure, but when we look at the detailed part of this viral particle, it has all these structures that can help the virus to attack the white blood cells in our body. As you can see on this diagram, all these structures are used by the virus to attach itself with white blood cells, again to multiply itself in our body. Therefore, HIV virus can infect our body by using its different structures, and these different structures allow the virus to multiply in a rapid rate and to attack our immune system, so that it leads to the disease what we know AIDS. If HIV is a virus, so how can this virus can transmit from one individual to the other? HIV can transmit by one of these three methods. One of the transmission method is unprotected sexual intercourse. It says unprotected sexual intercourse. Having unprotected sexual intercourse with infected individual will cause the disease. This is the main mode of transmission of HIV, mainly in our country. HIV can transmit from mother to child by 3 methods. It can transmit from mother to child during pregnancy, or it can transmit during childbirth, or at the time of breastfeeding. It can transmit by one of these 3 methods. And the third mode of transmission is contact with infected blood. Contact with infected blood. When we say infected blood, blood that carries HIV. How this contact occurs? This contact may occur at the time of blood transfusion. When blood transfusion occurs, there may be infected blood, and that time the disease, the virus will transmit from infected individual to normal individual by sharing sharp materials. By sharing sharp materials like needle or other sharp syringes, other sharp materials can also act as a means of transmission by transmission for HIV. Therefore, students, you have to identify this mode of transmission in order to protect yourself and your community from HIV. If we say this much about the introductory part of HIV, let's have a check on what we have discussed. Here we have one question that says, what is the difference between HIV and AIDS? Can you answer this question within 20 seconds? Let me give you 20 seconds to answer, and I will return back. Okay, welcome back, students. I hope you have answered this question correctly. If you answer, HIV is the virus and AIDS is the disease caused by HIV, you are correct. The next question, list 3 ways by which HIV transmitted from one person to the other. Again, I will give you 20 seconds to answer this question. Okay, students, let's see the answer. If you answer this question as follows, you are correct. HIV can be transmitted by unprotected sexual intercourse from mother to child and by blood contact. You are correct. Okay, if we look at the introductory part, let's see the main important way by which HIV affects our immune system. Students, I hope you have learned how HIV affects our immune system in your previous classes. HIV affects the immune system of our body, and this immune system, as you know, is very important system in our body because the immune system protect our body from diseases. It can protect or it can defend our body from diseases. And again, HIV as a virus can affect only the immune system of the body. Let me give you one example. For example, if you take common cold, it affects which part of our body? It affects our respiratory system. It affects our respiratory system. Common cold is also caused by virus, but it affects only our respiratory system, but not our digestive system or circulatory system or any other system. Just like this, HIV also affects only the immune system of our body. When HIV affects the immune system, it affects only type of cells that are involved in our immune system by defending against disease-causing microorganisms. These cells are considered as immune cells. When we look at the immune system in general, it has two types of white blood cells that play important role in our immune system, and these two types of cells are T cells and B cells. They are namely known as T cell and B cell. T cells are used to recognize and attach to a cell carrying foreign antigen. In case of HIV, the foreign antigen is HIV protein that's found on the T cell and destroy it. Therefore, T cells are very important to identify the bacteria or the virus or the disease-causing microorganism, and they immediately destroy it. The second type of cells are B cells, which are also work with T cells in collaboration to protect our body. And the B cells, again, recognize foreign antigen and they destroy them by producing antibodies. Remember, we have said that in case of T cell, they kill or destroy the foreign antigen or the microorganism directly, but in case of B cell, they kill or destroy microorganism by producing antibodies. And when we look at HIV, as I have told you, HIV attack only T cells of the immune system. It attacks only T cells of the immune system. Why? These T cells are very important for communication in the immune system. All cells communicate by the action of T cells. And these T cells will make other cells to be active, or they help in communicating with other cells to fight with disease-causing microorganisms. For that reason, when HIV attacks T cell, it directly attacks our immune system. It directly attacks the immune system. But if the immune system lacks T cells, its efficiency becomes decreased, or it cannot perform its work in the absence of T cells. If you look at the role of T cells in our immune system, if more HIV virus reproduce in our blood and attack more T cells, the immune system efficiency become weak, or the immune system become weak to fight with other disease-causing microorganisms. That's why people with HIV virus become weak in resisting different types of disease. Therefore, the presence of both cells, both T and B cells, are used for effective functioning of the immune system. They have important role in maintaining the functioning of the immune system. If HIV affects our immune system in this way, so what are the characteristics of the symptom of this virus? HIV, after it has been entered to our body, it takes some period, depending on the individual immune system, to produce the symptom. If the symptoms start produced in our body, we will see these different symptoms. As you see here on the diagram, one of the symptoms is headache, and enlarged lymph nodes around here, swelling of lymph glands, and when you look at the respiratory system, it causes dry cough. Most of the time, HIV-infected individuals have pneumonia and sore throat. And in the digestive system, you can observe symptoms like vomiting, diarrhea, and so on. And in case of muscles, it can cause muscle pain or joint pain, and so on. These are most the symptoms that you can observe in HIV-infected individuals. But most of the time, few symptoms will be observed in HIV-positive individuals. But later on, when the T cells decrease in number, or when the virus increases in number, it immediately decreases the number of T cells. Why? Because when HIV infects the T cells, immediately it kills the T cells. If T cells killed in our immune system, there is no more communication, or there is no more information exchange with other immune system components. Due to this, different types of diseases will attack the body. That's why at the end of the day, there will be infection of different diseases, and finally leads to death. It finally leads to death. If diseases occur in our body, since the immune system is weak, the individual become weak, and finally the individual will die. Therefore, in HIV infection, what we have to know is as soon as infection occurs in our body, we have to take medication, or we have to take medicines known as antiretroviral drugs. These drugs or these medicines are important because they slow down the progress of HIV/AIDS, which means the reproduction rate of HIV virus in our body is very fast compared with the formation of T cell, so that if the number of virus increases, the efficiency of the immune system decreases. Therefore, these antiretroviral drugs will reduce the rate of multiplication of the virus in our body, so that it can slow down the progress to AIDS, the progress to have this combination of illness in individuals with HIV. And also these drugs are important to protect unborn babies from infection. But the main point is these antiretroviral drugs do not cure AIDS. They cannot cure AIDS. The only thing, they can reduce the multiplication of the virus in our body, but not remove the virus, or they cannot eradicate the virus, or they cannot cure the disease at all. That's why we need to use antiretroviral drugs regularly in order to reduce the viral multiplication. If HIV is controlled, how can we control this disease? Or how can we prevent ourselves from HIV? The first one is by having healthy lifestyle. What are these healthy lifestyles are? Healthy lifestyle means having ABC rules in our life, being faithful for our sexual partner, or being abstinence, or using condoms. These are the opportunities that we can use to have a healthy lifestyle. And the other one is avoid stigma and discrimination. As you know, stigma and discrimination is very important point, because if we discriminate HIV positive individuals, or if we cannot avoid stigma in our society, HIV positive individuals become upset. Therefore, we have to avoid stigma and discrimination, care and support people with HIV. If we care and if give support people with HIV, we can make other individuals to take HIV test so that we can control the disease in our community. Concerning the testing of HIV, there are organizations known as voluntary counseling and testing services. These organizations are very important because due to voluntary counseling and testing service, local people or our community will get education, awareness about the disease, how the disease transmit, how can we control it, and how can we live with it. Even if we are HIV positive, it can help us to get information how can we live with HIV. Or if we are HIV positive after having HIV test, voluntary counseling and testing centers will provide us awareness to protect ourselves and our population from HIV. Therefore, these centers are very important in controlling the disease. The other important point in controlling this devastating disease is developing personal skills. This is very important for all aged individuals because having important life skills can help us to protect ourselves from HIV and other related problems. When we say personal skill, it can be self-assertiveness or decision-making or problem-solving ability. If you develop these personal skills, you can have the chance or you can have the potential to protect yourself and your population or your community from HIV. Students, up to now we have seen how we can protect ourselves from HIV and how it can transmit. In this period, we have seen what HIV is, and as we said, HIV is the virus that causes AIDS. And secondly, we have said that AIDS or acquired immunodeficiency syndrome is collection of illness that is caused by the weakening of the immune system. The immune system becomes weak because of the virus known as HIV. And also we have seen that HIV can be transmitted from one person to the other or from infected person to normal individual by 3 methods. The first one is unprotected sexual intercourse. The second one is by sharing sharp materials or from mother to child. So you have to list these mechanisms. And the last point we have seen is prevention. How can we prevent ourselves from HIV? We can prevent HIV by avoiding unprotected sex or by using ABC rules in having a healthy lifestyle. And the other one is that we have seen is the role of VCT centers. VCT means voluntary counseling and testing center, and the importance of having skills to protect ourselves from HIV. If you say this much about the disease, now let's go to see some summary questions on the whole unit, including the disease part of the unit. In this question, here I am going to give you some terms, so you are expected to write the terms on piece of paper and answer the question that follows the terms. Here you have the terms and you are expected to write these terms within 2 minutes. Within 2 minutes. I will give you 2 minutes and we will start the answer. Have you finished, students? Okay, let's start the first question. The first question says, objects are sterilized by placing them in boiling water. To answer this question, you are expected to choose the terms that you have listed on your piece of paper. And I will give you 10 seconds to answer this question. Okay, the answer for this question will be boiling. Boiling is a technique that is used to control microorganisms by boiling or sterilizing objects under boiling water. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 2. Question B, sterilizing objects by boiling water at high pressure than the normal. Again, 50 seconds to answer this question. Okay, students, I hope you have answered the question correctly. If you answer this question as autoclaving, you are correct. You are correct. Now let's proceed to the next question. It says, heating food to kill all the microorganisms, on it. Again, 10 seconds. Have you answered? Okay, let's see the answer. It is by using ultra high temperature. Have you got the answer? Okay, students, let's move on to the next question. It says, to treat milk, beer, and so on. A technique that is used to treat milk, beer, and other drinks. Let me give you 50 seconds again. Okay, our answer will be pasteurization. You know that this is one type of sterilizing by heat, and it is used to sterilize milk, beer, and different foods, and it is one method of controlling microorganism. The next one, it is used to sterilize scientific equipment. To sterilize scientific equipment. Again, I will give you time as usual, and you are expected to answer correctly. Okay, students, have you answered your question? It is dry heat. If you say dry heat, you got correct answer. Let's move on to the next question. Treat drinking water, sink, toilet, and so on to make them germ-free. Let me give you 20 seconds for this question to think over it and answer. The answer will be disinfectants. Students, here we have to remember that we have used different mechanisms to control microorganism growth, and one of the mechanisms is by using chemicals. Among these chemicals, disinfectants are used to sterilize or to kill microorganisms from non-living objects. As you see here, drinking water is non-living. Sinks, toilets are also non-living. Okay, the next one, help to avoid microorganisms from our hand. Can you tell me? Let me give you 10 seconds. If you answered antiseptics, you are right. Antiseptics are used to kill microorganisms from living tissue. Our hand is living body part, so that we can use antiseptics to remove microorganisms from our hand. And the next question, it is used to treat bacterial infections like TB. And it is antibiotics. Antiseptics, antibiotics, you have to differentiate these two terms. The last question, list 5 diseases that are caused by bacteria. Bacteria, you are expected to list 5 diseases. Here is my answer, students. I have said that bacterial disease can be cholera, typhoid, tuberculosis, syphilis, leprosy, and so on. The second one, diseases that are caused by virus. I have listed the following: Ebola, AIDS, COVID-19, hepatitis, flu. If say like this, you got full answer. Or you can list any viral infection, but the number should be 5. And the last one, diseases caused by fungus. Okay, students, I have 5 diseases that are caused by fungus: ringworm, candidiasis, farmer's lung, and athlete's foot. If you have another additional disease, you can list on your answer sheet. Students, this brings us to the end of the lesson, even the chapter. On the next period, we will see what classification means. And this is all for today. Thank you for listening.